I'm going to put Danny Perla on the phone. Tell them what's happening.
We are, Rabba and I are taking shelter. The sirens just went off. We were literally sitting outside of Ichabod Hospital, where we were going to visit some of the heroes and some of the wounded soldiers, sitting out before our visit, and the sirens suddenly went off, and people, not in a panicked way, but very, very quickly moved. And we're in an underground garage in what's hopefully a safe zone here. And your Rav, of course,
what you did today.
We earlier today, Rav Avi and I and Anat Sharbat, for those of you who remember Rabba Anat, when she was at the Bayit, we went to Tel HaShomer Hospital, which is an enormous hospital system in Tel Aviv, and we visited with injured people who were in the kibbutzim. We met real heroes, both chayalim that were injured, as well as sort of civilians, people who, instead of running away from danger, actually heard about what was going on. We're okay, and ran toward the danger, and we met a real heroes today. In fact, one of the news stations was there interviewing one of the young men that we met with. We met their families. In one case, we met the fiance of a young man who had been injured, and we told them if they come to New York, we'll celebrate their wedding in New York. We could do a wedding for them right on the spot, since we had Rabbi Weiss here. But it's been a very, very meaningful trip. In the interest of full disclosure, for those of you who think that I normally do these things, this is a first for me, and it's really, it's just absolutely amazing. But Rav Avi, it's certainly not a first for him. He does this all the time, and he puts himself in harm's way sometimes. We're walking around the mall now, so I'm assuming that things are okay. Okay, we're going back outside, and I think I'm going to turn you back in a minute to our regularly scheduled program. But I'll share a few thoughts. Yes. Okay. Let me. Am I still there? I think I'm still here.
You're here.
Okay. Sorry. I'll just share a few thoughts. Number one, some of the things that were so striking visiting these really brave. In this case, it was all men that we went to see. But some of the things that were particularly striking were, number one, how each one of these people really was a hero. They all did something to, in some way, not just save themselves, but to save other people, including running to kibbutzim that they heard were in danger from their places. And I said to Rav Avi that were this in the United States, each one of these would have a cover story, would be a cover story in their local or national communities, because each one was an incredible story. And here it's just sort of, another day in the life of a typical Israeli. This is what they do day to day to survive, and this is how their instincts work. They run to help people, not away from. And I would say number two was the gratitude. Those of you that have visited people who are sick, or sometimes seen someone in a hospital room, and you've sort of gently tiptoed and wondered whether you should say hello or not. And you don't always know the reaction you're going to get. Some people simply don't want a visitor or are angry, while many welcome it. What was remarkable to me was every person that when we stepped in, they all welcomed the visit. They were thanking us for coming from Artzot Habrit in New York. They were so appreciative of the fact that we were taking the time to come visit with them. So there was a tremendous amount of gratitude right across the board, really, with everyone we visited. And then, of course, the third observation is that this is just, this is the way of life sometimes in Israel. And we didn't hear, no one said this was terrible. No one said I've lost my faith in God. In fact, lahafech, the opposite. A lot of people, some who were observant, meaning identifiably observant, but many who would appear were not especially religious or observant. We're very happy we're thrilled to have a bracha, participated in the bracha, and still we're very, very thankful. That was the common theme. Was we know people are suffering, we know people have been killed and maimed, and we're thankful to be in the situation we're in, and please God, a lot of emunah and faith that the situation will somehow be brought to a peaceful conclusion. And I'm going to turn this back over to Rav Avi.
Thank you,
First of
Dan.
all, I wanted to say hello to everybody. It's good to see you. Things are quieted down here. It's funny, as soon as I was opening up to see you, at that instant, the Seva Adom went off. And we have another surprise guest, and that is Rabba Anat Sharbat, who's been with us,
I remember. Yeah.
opening doors. But Ellen, it's so good to see you, and my blessings
to
from
see
Tel
you.
Aviv. And Phil, Yerushalmi, and my Arnie, it's great to see you. And Rita, I hope things are okay. And Ruby, wow, good to see you, Ruby.
Thank you. Thank you. Same here.
And Caroline and Howard. Howard and Caroline. And Vivian, how are you doing? And Moshe Resnick.
See me?
Elaine
You
and
see me? Rabbi, you see me?
Toby, you got to stay young here. You're here like
Well,
Sevadon, you got to
you
get
see
on
me?
your feet and move. Stephen, how are
You
you?
see me, Rabbi?
And dear Effie, and I hear Zalman, Bert, and Ken, and Ann, and Mendy. So good to see all of you. I'm assuming that Janet's on and Judy's on. And I hope Anat's okay, because
She called.
I'll ask Anat to come out. So I'm really more interested in knowing how everyone is doing. And I knew that we would, making our very small contribution, trying to help out. We're now in Ichalov Hospital, which is in Tel Aviv. It's right near Kikar Amdina, where our children, our son Dove and Shandy and their family, they've been living. That would be a good starting point. Shandy, of course, is the main reporter for the Wall Street Journal on Israel. And I'm proud to say that from all the news outlets, as Dan mentioned to me, Dan Perla, the best outlet, the most objective, the one that said right from the beginning it's Iran, is the Wall Street Journal. And I'm very proud of Shandy, but they had very little children, and the children couldn't handle it. So Dove and the children are back in the United States. And Shandy is now in Dubai, but God willing, she's going to be flying to America so she can be with the family for a week. The Wall Street Journal was kind enough to fly her in every month for a week. And that gives you a sense how every family in Israel is affected in different ways. Just in different ways, everyone is affected. There are families where people are sitting Shiva. There are families who have members who are wounded soldiers. Every family has its issues. So before I say a word of Torah, we have a special treat. Many of you know and love, as we do, Rabba Anat. And here's Anat. I see Ellen is smiling from ear to ear.
Shalom, everybody. So good to see you all. How are you? Oh, Vivian, I miss you.
Yes, and I miss you too very much. Yes,
Ellen.
you were very
Wow.
close. Yes, so nice to see you.
So nice to see you.
Thank you.
How do you feel these days?
Yeah, well, not so good. I'm in touch with my daughter and Ranana, and they're getting rocket attacks all the time. And you have to be in a safe room, and they have all these babies they have to take care of, which is very difficult. And because the children want to go outside, they don't understand, they don't know, and they have to be kept in a safe room. But thank God, they're so far, everybody is okay.
Baruch Hashem.
Baruch
So I'm sending my love from Israel.
Say a word or two.
Thank you.
You know,
What'd you do?
I was in a it's so much to do here. On Friday night, I went to the hostages' families. They had a beautiful, beautiful table with. We thought on Friday night that there are only 203 hostages, which now we know 222. And they set a table, a dinner for them, waiting for them. Beautiful, beautiful table. And we did their Kabbalat Shabbat. We light candles with them, and we bless all the hostages to come healthy and soon, very, very soon, Bezrat Hashem, home. And we went back on Motzei Shabbat to make with them Havdalah. We met there a mother of one of the hostages. Her name is Shaili. And it was very, very meaningful for all of us. We prayed together. And today we went, Dani Perla and Rabba Avi, to Tel HaShomer, to the hospital, and met some heroes. I have no other words to describe them, who took their weapon and with solidarity with others, with nobody else telling them to go, just went and did what they needed to do to defend the yeshuvim there and the people. And yeah, so I'm sending my love and peace. And tonight there is a group, you know, people are very devastating here, and to meet, we know meeting in Zoom from the COVID already, that this is kind of meeting, but not giving us what we need when we see each other and can hug each other. So tonight there is a group of young people that want to have some words of Torah, and they will meet together, and they invited me to teach them, and I will teach them the words of the really great and uplifting words that Rav Adin Steinsaltz wrote after 9/11 in America. He speaks about the Gvura. He says there are two kinds of Gvura. One that we saw today with strength, one that we saw today with the soldiers that jump into the war, into the fire, into the bullets, and save whoever they could save. But there is another Gvura, and the other Gvura is coming from פרקי אבות, איזהו גיבור הכובש את יצרו. And what is לכבוש את היצר? To wake up every morning, to continue our life, but every morning with all the difficulty and with all the fear and all the emotions that we feel here in Israel, and I'm sure also in America and all over the world. We are Jewish, and we know that we are Am Chazak. and we suffer through history, but nobody will kill our spirits. Nobody will kill our spirits as a nation. So I'm sending you strength, and I love you and I miss you, and I'm giving you back to Abavi.
So we have just a few moments because we're not in the best spot, although I feel very, very safe. But I want to share with you just a word about the parasha. This week it's Parshat Lech Lecha. Julie, can I be heard?
Absolutely. Clear as day.
I'm sorry.
Yes, we hear you.
So it's Parshat Lech Lecha, and it begins with God telling Abraham, Lech Lecha. And Lech means go. So one wonders, why Lech Lecha? It should just say, God says to Abraham, Lech, go. Why Lech Lecha? Which literally means go to yourself. And so I'd like to share with you this thought, especially appropriate during these days in Israel. Many people wonder, with Israel under attack, what can we do? What can I do? And given what's occurring, the horror that unfolded, a horror that makes it clear this is a moment when we're not studying Jewish history, but we are living in Jewish history. We're not studying Jewish history, we're living in Jewish history. A time when we saw decapitations and rapes and live burnings of Jews, the greatest blood libel in all of Jewish history, the greatest Alilat Dam. It seemed to be so dark, but there's one difference. The difference is we have a state of Israel and we have an army of Israel. And all people, all Jews are part of that army, whether we're wearing the green uniforms of Tzva Haganah Yisrael or wearing our own uniforms. We're all part of Tzahal. We've all been told to show up. We've all been called up. Everyone can make a difference. And that's what maybe Lech Lecha means. God says to Abraham, you go to yourself. Whatever you do in life, when you face a challenge, go, walk. Don't run from the challenge, run to the challenge. And as Frank Sinatra says, I did it my way. Do it, everyone doing it their way. Lech Lecha. Everyone can make a contribution. Everyone can wear a yellow ribbon or start a campaign for the hostages. Everyone can recite a prayer. Everyone can write a letter to the Riverdale Press applauding Richie Torres for the position that he's taken on Israel. Everyone can make a difference. Everyone has a friend or a family member in Israel, and everyone can call that person and say, we're with you. Anachnu omdim itchem. We stand with you. The Sfat Emet says on Lech Lecha, Kol Adam, every person, Tzarich lihiyot mahalech. Every person has to keep walking, mimadrega limadrega, higher and higher and higher. Vayomer Hashem, lech lecha, lech lecha, lechi lach. And the Lord said, keep on walking. And the Lord said, lech lecha. Walking and walking higher and higher. One final word from our Danny.
Hard to have the last word when you hear from Rav Avi, but I'm thinking back toward Parshat Toldot, and the thing that's so striking here is for those of us old enough to remember the wars, 1973, obviously the first and second Intifada, but 73, 67, which many of us remember. I was a child myself during the 1973 war, but I remember vividly the community's reaction to it. But throughout the generations, while history in some ways feels like it repeats itself, as we're reminded in Toldot, there's also the hope that the Parsha gives us, which is that we'll prevail, and that God willing, future generations of Israelis and Americans and really of Jews all over the world will figure out how to live peacefully with one another, and that there won't be these kinds of wars. So wishing everyone lots of bracha, mazal, and lots of safety, love from Israel, and
A final word from Anat.
and a final word.
Final word. You're reaching out to us, and a lot of you reached out to me personally, is really strengthening us. So thank you so much for everything you do there. We feel the love that you send us, that you pouring us, and we are grateful for you there, strengthening us. So thank you so much. We all fighting for better word together.
Walking, walking higher and higher. Walking, walking higher and higher. And the Lord said, keep on walking higher and higher.